Hi guys, nothing fancy again. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to do another fixed blade knife review as requested by some of my faithful subscribers. Thanks for the emails. And this is one of them. We're going to talk about in this video a really outstanding knife which I like a lot, and that is the Ontario Rat 3 fixed blade knife. These are two versions of it. I have a combo edge and a plain edge version. I'll discuss both of them briefly. Actually, not briefly. I always use up my 10 minutes. There's always so much to talk about, actually. First off, I'm going to talk about how I would categorize this excellent knife. And that is not a tactical knife, but probably an everyday carry knife. You heard me right. EDC, baby. Fixed blade. Now, my other videos, no doubt, you've seen me talk that I think a good everyday carry knife is something that's lightweight. Maybe a Cold Steel, maybe a Kershaw, maybe a Benchmade. There's a lot of great options out there, but lightweight, strong folder, fast deploying, I think that's a great option for EDC. It's a versatile, easy to carry option. However, I do think that in the world of knives and in the world of your daily life and mine, there is a role and a purpose for a fixed blade everyday carry knife. If your cutting tasks are so stringent and so demanding that you might doubt the effectiveness of a folding blade design, maybe you need to step up to a fixed blade design. And by that I mean if you have a lot of rope to cut, maybe you're doing some prying tasks, you'd have to use your knife in prying. Hopefully not anything huge, otherwise we should be reaching for the proper tool, a pry bar or a knife, the claw of a knife. However, for light prying, maybe some light digging, or some other tasks, somewhat like you'd find around a farm, then a fixed blade knife is probably your better option. And in that task, I think the Rat 3 is outstanding, or would be outstanding. Mainly because it's such a strong knife. All the Rat knives are excellent in my opinion. There's not one of them I don't like. I think they're a lot of knife for the money. I think they have a great balance of value and utility and quality in their manufacture, and they don't hype themselves up, which I kind of like too. Unlike some other versions like Swamp Rat, you know, some other ones out there, they talk up a big game, and I'm sure they probably deliver, but they also charge a really big price for it. And here we can get in the Rat 3 for about 80 bucks, under 80 bucks. So if we need a strong, compact fixed blade design, the Rat 3 would be a good option. Let's talk about specifics. The first version I'm showing you here is a D2 steel version of the Rat 3. Now the D2 version is made of that somewhat stainless steel tool steel. You might have some experience with it. I have a little bit of experience with it, and I've liked it. I think it's a good steel. The jury is still out, however, on how it functions in a survival knife. For me, I want to make sure it's strong enough and more, I should say, impact resistant enough to function as a all-around tool in the woods. So I don't know. I still have to do some more testing before I'll sign off on that. However, in the role of everyday carry knives, I think D2 would function quite well. Unless, of course, we're doing some heavy-duty prying with this blade, in which case we might want to think about not doing that, as D2 is somewhat brittle. Now you can see on this blade, this is a partially serrated blade. I do like how Ontario or Rat kind of does those serrations. They're not too deep, they're somewhat shallow, they don't take up too much of the blade. It's just that rear portion right here. I like it. Now while we're talking about it, RAT is an acronym for Randall's Training and Randall's Adventure and Training Center, I guess. I guess it's some training center somewhere in some jungle that teaches survival skills. I think I read about it one time, but I forgot where. However, they have some really cool designs, and in a collaborative effort with Ontario Knives, they've produced the Rat series. My understanding is that Rat is going out on its own and producing designs under their own name, which I think is great as well. As long as you don't hike the price up. That's one thing that makes these knives so attractive, is their high value to price ratio. So good job, Rat. Don't go changing that. So again, to the blade, it's got a modified drop point to it and a nice sweep to it for all the utility tasks we would come across. Now I said this is an everyday carry knife. Of course you could use it probably in a hunting roll, probably in a tactical roll as well. It'd be a good LBE knife as well. It's strong. Could it serve in a defensive role? Sure. My only critique on that is I think there are a lot better options for the weight you're carrying around for a Rat 3. If you're going to apply a defensive role to this knife, I think you'd probably be best served by getting something with more reach. This is kind of a short blade for that. And for the 7 ounces, that's what it weighs, sheath and knife, you can pack something more deadly, longer reach. However, you may give up some of the absolute strength that the Rat 3 offers you. So I'll just say that as an aside. So back to the blade, great sweep, nice serration, strong point. It's a full flat grind on it, which I like a lot. These Rat 3s though are chunky little buggers, so if you want to really make them razor sharp, you're going to have to change the geometry on the blade. As they come from Ontario, at least these versions came from Ontario, they were not super sharp, and I did have to re-geometry them, so to speak, to get them sharp, to get the degree of sharpness I was looking for. So just be advised on that. Nice jimping on the top, really nice. It locks your thumb in, and it is purposeful. Nice deep choil as we come here to the handle and blade junction. Really nice. It has enough room for your index finger. And that brings us to the handle, which is micarta, and it does come in some really cool colors. That's another big advantage to the Rat 3 knife, is you can get it in some beautiful colors. In combination with the sheath as well. So it comes in, I think, olive drab, black, desert tan in the handle, and varying colors of the sheath too, which I think is cool. It just adds to the aesthetics of the knife and the cool factor, if you ask me. So back to the handle, it's put on with Torx screws. I actually am wrong on that. They're regular hex screws, so you can take them off with just a regular hex key should you get some salt water or something under those slabs where you'd have to oil it up. They did a real good job, unlike the Benchmade Nimmervis, in radiusing the micarta handle. See, we don't have any steel sticking out here like we did the Nimmervis, and if you want to look at that, I have a video on that, and I don't like how Benchmade did it, but here we have Ontario getting it right, or Rat knife I should say. Really nice job that the steel is flush with the micarta, and that makes for a more comfortable grip. And in super cold weather, like 20 degrees below zero, we don't have to put our hand on steel. Chances are we're wearing gloves anyhow, but what if we're not? I like the nice feel and the warm feel of micarta. It's a great handle material, it's rugged, and it's comfortable. So let's not screw it up with exposed steel, I say. Now, that being said, this handle is somewhat small. My hands kind of range on the larger size. I do run out of real estate on the Rat 3. However, it is a compact fixed blade design. It's just under 8 inches overall, just under 3.5 inches for the blade, so it's compact. So I understand that, and I'm willing to give up a little bit of handle length to get more portability and lighter weight, so I can deal with that. Has an exposed tang that we can put a lanyard on should we desire, and should we want to smack something with it. Make sure the fat of your hand's out of the way. I've had that happen, and man, that sucker hurt. So not cool. Be careful with that. Overall, nice balance, and it's really strong. This is basically one slab of steel with some micarta scales thrown on it. So simple physics would show that that's going to be a very strong knife. Now quickly to the sheath. It's made out of plastic, not Kydex. It's got grommets here. I love the plastic sheath. Won't retain water. Snaps in nice and solidly. Has a nice clip to it, attached by 4 screws. The only downside to those clips is that it will slide around on your belt. It's good for both out and inside the waistband carry, and if you can deal with a fixed blade of this length kind of digging into your backside, then it's doable. If you want a more solid lockup and maybe a variety of carry options, horizontal, vertical, put a tech lock of the appropriate size on there. Running out of time as usual. Here's the plain edge version of that knife, black on black. Great knife. Again, I changed the geometry here. So that's a Rat 3. It's a super strong, well-made, high-value, everyday carry knife. You just can't go wrong with this. Just under 80 bucks. Thanks.